Hello all, I'm Josh, this is Josh Builds Stuff, and the stuff we're building today is a bunch of assumptions because LEGO and Formula One have just announced a very exciting multi-year partnership starting in 2025. I know what you're thinking, it's what I was thinking. LEGO's been making Formula One sets for a long time, yes, but none of those have been officially Formula One branded. They've all been agreements with individual teams and organizations. Here's what I want to do today. Speculate, among other things. I want to think about what this partnership might mean in terms of future sets and themes and integrations and collaborations and CMF series. Also, I want you to tell me what you think this partnership will result in terms of all of those things. At this point, there are more questions than answers, hence the speculation. This video is being made at the beginning of October, hence the fall decor. I think LEGO hasn't even teased that they're going to announce anything until closer to the end of November in 2024, as per a countdown on their website. Reading between the lines of all the corporate speak on the press announcements, we're getting sets across different ages and themes. We know that's going to be Speed Champions and Duplo so far. Hi, I'm Josh from exactly one day in the future from when this fellow was recorded saying all of those things, and of course since then a bunch of new leaks have come out, and so I will be occasionally interjecting and interrupting to lend some clarifying details when appropriate. They said this collaboration will feature all 10 teams, which is very exciting because it's not just going to be LEGO's favorite teams, McLaren and Mercedes. We're finally getting Red Bull and RB, and that's another question I have that I'm not going to go into right now, but what year are these teams going to be from? Because they kind of change from year to year, right? We're getting 10 Speed Champion sets in March, one for each of the current F1 teams, and it looks like they're going to be from the current 2024 season. There will be fan zone activations at the actual races. LEGO's done some of this before, putting up the big LEGO cars at the events. Also mentioned heritage, meaning there will probably be sets celebrating older cars and drivers and teams, which is exciting for a lot of older people like me. Basically, the assumption right now is that F1 is to 2025 what LEGO Space was to 2024, which saw sets across a variety of themes, friends and city and CMFs and all of that. And speaking of themes, the one theme that we already have a few leaks from is Speed Champions, unsurprisingly. The first 10 cars will come out in March. They'll all be $27, so they will be single cars, most likely. They won't be single for long though, right? I'm gonna take them off the market. The original Speed Champion set numbers were leaked via promo bricks, and then Brick Clicker leaked the actual set names, and then on Brick Fanatics, via Fateful Lego on Insta, they said that we're getting a Kick Sauber C44, which is the current generation of car. 10 cars in one Speed Champions wave is a huge wave. There are plenty of non-Formula One fans out there that are fans of Speed Champions that will not be happy about that. Sorry. So they built basically all the same with slightly different colors and stickers on them. And then what do you do for drivers? They only usually do one minifigure per single car. More questions than answers, like I said. Also, we've already gotten 3 cars from 3 teams that are slightly different years than each other and slightly different construction builds. And so what do we do about that overlap? I'll be very interested to see if they just repackage the McLaren and Aston Martin that they just released, and maybe they'll give us the Aston Martin in the right color this time. What's more exciting, subjectively, to me, and hopefully you agree, is the 5 larger and more expensive Speed Champion sets in June. Just having larger Speed Champion sets in general is not something we've had much of. It's been a long time. I mean, since before the 8 stud wide era that we've had any additional builds and accessories to go along with the cars. And so maybe these larger sets will be, I don't know, the transportation trucks that the F1 cars come in, or it's something that opens up into a garage, or something with more details around it. Something else worth speculating on, this idea of a collectible minifigure series of Formula One figures. What do you do there? Do you do drivers? If so, I mean, you're usually about 12 figures in these smaller CMF sets, and there were 20 drivers, and even more than 20 drivers who have driven on the grid just this year. What year would those drivers come from? Would you just pick the favorite driver from each team? That's not easy to, well, actually it's not that hard. You just take Alonso, Hamilton, Verstappen, Norris, Bottas, Ricardo, Sainz? No, gotta take Chuck. Maybe not that easy. We are getting a sort of slightly adjusted CMF series. They are going to be drivers, and I don't know yet if it's all 20 drivers, but I imagine it is, but this bit about interchangeable heads is still relevant. Or since the racing suits are basically the same, do they just do swappable heads like they did in the D&D series? And then you can have Lando Norris holding up Oscar Piastri's head and Lewis Hamilton just hanging out with the head of King King George, it gets weird. Does the F1 license, obviously it'll give them the ability to use all of the different teams, but does that also give them license to use the likeness of every driver of every team? These are not going to be traditional CMFs. Instead, it's going to be more like what I'm about to say here that was just a rumor at the time, though I still don't know if it's going to be one figure or car per team or one per driver. These aren't going to be traditional CMFs, but it's going to be some small car builds a la the old school racer series is, and then the little drivers will somehow be integrated or included. They've hinted at those little, you know, the weird little racer bodies that they used to have with just the headpiece on top. I don't think they're going to bring that back, but it's been hinted that there might be something like that going on. It's going to be a car and a driver in one and not a traditional CMF series. I was trying to think of other notable figures that might not just be drivers. That would have been fun, but they're just going to be drivers, so we can move on. Let me know what you think in terms of figures. Let's think about other themes. Duplo is one that was also confirmed that they're going to be sets there. Not everyone wants that. I do. I got a baby. I'll give her a little F1 cars. Start them young, you know? LEGO Technic has not technically been announced yet, but some have been leaked, and this next prediction is about to sound a whole lot more like prophecy. They could give us another big car, a la the McLaren and the Mercedes, even though those two are pretty different styles, even though they're similarly scaled sets, and those have only come out every 2 years at this point, and so this would be a year early if they were going to do that again, but still, it'd be cool to have another big size car, a Ferrari or Red Bull or something, right? I'd buy it. Admittedly, this was a pretty safe prediction, but yeah, we're getting exactly 2 more big F1 cars, and it's going to be a big Ferrari and a big Red Bull. I am excited about these. I am not excited about their prices. And side note, when I say I would buy that right now, my current plan is that I'm just going to buy everything from the official F1 theme, assuming it's not a ridiculous amount of sets or money. I worry this comment won't age well. But up until now, it's been exciting whenever something officially Formula One came out. And so we'd say, thank you, Father Lego, for the privilege to build this Formula One set. But now it's going to be kind of coming at us from all directions and all themes. And so is it going to be too much of a good thing? Time will tell. My last thought in that Technic theme is that they could give us something that's not just a differently scaled model of an actual Formula One car, something like a working Formula One V6 modern era engine, right? Little pistons firing, but in a larger scale. Technic seems like the right theme in which to do that, which made me think, what other things that aren't cars that are from Formula One could LEGO give us in some cool, buildable, displayable scale? Now on, I think it's just pure fun speculation, maybe one more leak to be revealed, but none of this has been rumored or confirmed. They could give us a model of a steering wheel, and Technic or more likely in Creator. They could give us a trophy. They've given us little trophies. They could give us some cool, weird, I don't know, silver glass looking angled trophy. They could give us a pole position trophy, I was thinking, because those are usually just, they give the driver a little mini tire and they go, hey, you drove fast on a big tire, here's a little tire, would you sign that for us? I'd display a little Formula One tire on my shelf. Be a boring build now that I'm thinking about it. A little build that I would have previously thought was silly, but now I think it's silly to not think that we're going to get this. I'm talking about a buildable Formula One logo. We're getting a Star Wars buildable logo and a Marvel buildable logo, so you better believe we're probably going to get a logo of the big F and the big 1. It stands for F1. You know that Star Wars helmet collection and that Marvel helmet and head collection, that Sonic, he has a head collection as well that's just starting up? What's more helmet-like than a helmet, right? They could absolutely give us builds in that scale of Formula One drivers' helmets. Give us a cool Legacy helmet. The problem is a lot of the, you like Google Legacy helmets, a lot of cigarette branding on there, and we kind of run into that issue before. This is that other leak. It's not a helmet, but we are getting an upscaled buildable F1 figure, kind of like this one. So same questions around that one and what team and branding and whatnot will come with that. And speaking of that issue right now, there is that McLaren Senna MP4 that's out right now. It's in a different scale than the other cars. It's in the Creator set. It's not a Technic set. It doesn't have Marlboro branding on it, but it gives us this idea that we could get other cars in a Legacy collection, other cars in that similar scale. I'd love that. They're not too crazy, they're not too big, they're not too expensive. They give us a real likeness of a real historic driver. This is the 75th anniversary of Formula One in 2025, so naturally they want to look back on their history, celebrate some of those well-known drivers. Similarly, trying to distance ourselves from just car models, give us some sort of play sets, some things involving race tracks, which is the hardest for me to visualize because tracks are big no matter what scale you put the car at, and so it's more likely you'd have slices of tracks or a track pack. Something more likely is a pit stop area. A pit stop area is by nature just an empty space where a car can go, but there's accessories around there and different minifigures around. One guy's got a jack and one guy's holding a stop sign up, and like they've done this sort of thing before, so do this again, but now with officially sponsored Formula One stuff. You could have a garage, an engineering area. This feels like another thing we'd be surprised not to get, but at some scale. Ferrari garage, Mercedes garage, a Red Bull garage. They'd have to include some big brick-built curtains you could put up in front of the garage. They're very secretive. A little engine off to the side, a little, I don't know, computer with a guy typing away at a screen. Another wind tunnel would be cool. All that sort of thing makes a lot of sense as a playset. Things that I would like to see, Lego art would be a fun, different integration. I've heard ideas of like, what if there was a track layout in Lego art form? Some kind of diorama, some kind of 3D art could lend itself, like the Milky Way from Lego Space last year. Something different, creative, that's not just a flat mosaic, though I'd take those too. You know what I don't want, but we will probably see, is brickheads. I don't actually have that much against them. They're just not that creatively interesting to me. Like, you gotta buy a Lewis Hamilton brickhead, you gotta buy a Verstappen brickhead, right? You don't want them, but they could make a bunch of them. Okay, that was a lot of speculation and a lot of leaks. I'll include links to all of the official articles that I found online. It's, like I said, it's a lot of corporate speak, so not a lot of details in those yet, but we can expect some details and probably leaks in the coming weeks. Or days. This better not be outdated in 2 days when this publishes. But again, let me know what you hope to see from this exciting partnership, and let me know if you do not think this partnership is very exciting, in which case, see the positive side. Hey, at least there's a bunch of sets that are out there that you don't gotta worry about buying. You're gonna save a little bit of money in 2025, and I am going to do just the opposite. As always, like, subscribe, and all of that, and I promise I am a fan of a lot more than just Formula One, so that's not all that's going to be on the channel for the foreseeable future. I worry this comment won't age well, but 2025 looks like it's going to be a busy one, but it will be a lot of fun, so stick around. I agree. Stick around. Stick around. Stick around.